and welcome back to our discussion about why people don't like the sound of their voice. And this is part of our series of speaking voice limiters that we have been presenting to you. So, what is that an obvious thing that many people do when they don't like the sound of their voice? They try to copy somebody else. So they listen to somebody who they believe has a beautiful voice and they try to emulate them. So the problem with this is, well, there's several problems, but one is maybe the example they look up to is not the best example. Unfortunately, I have to say that nowadays there are very bad voice examples out there, even among people who are supposed to be using their voice well, like radio speakers. And please, radio speakers, forgive me. I keep bringing you as an example. I know that they're not all bad, but unfortunately, I've heard so many radio speakers who maybe in trying to sound very confident and funny and high energy and all that, they tend to speak in a way that there's just a lot of tension in the voice, in the throat. And so in the long run, that is not a good example to follow. Especially, see, radio speakers normally don't speak for long periods of time. There's always some speaking, and then there's music, and then there's more speaking and more music. But for a public speaker, sometimes you have to give presentations that are 1.5, 2 hours long and ongoing, and maybe more. And you have to be able to sustain that effort for that long of a time. And your voice, it has to be able to support that and sustain that and not fail you right when you most need it. So trying to sound someone else, okay, maybe if we take good examples, but who are the good examples? The best thing that we can do is improve our own voice. See, our voice is like a fingerprint. There's no two voices that are the same, like there aren't two fingerprints that are the same. So you can't really change your voice to sound like someone else. I mean, people do it. There are professionals who are able to imitate perfectly someone else. But how do they do it? They always have to modify the way they use their voice, and that means they have to create tension in their throat. And they couldn't do that for hours because it would hurt them in the long run. See, every time you put any effort, any strain, any tension on your throat when you speak, that tension multiplied by hours and hours of speaking, and maybe many times a week of giving a talk and a presentation, over a certain number of months and years, that will be a problem for you. You might develop symptoms of your voice being always tired, always fatigued. Some people even can develop other pathologies like nodes on the vocal cords and stuff like that. So you don't want that. And so the best thing that you can do if you're really not satisfied with the sound of your voice is do your best to find who can help you develop your own voice by getting rid of tension, bad habits, mannerisms that you might have picked up over the years. And bit by bit, you take all those layers off, and what is left is your voice. Your voice the way it was meant to be from the very beginning. And for many different reasons, maybe it was never able to come out as it is. So don't try to sound like somebody else. For one thing, you will never be able to really perfectly. And also, your voice reflects so much of who you are, so much of your personality. If your purpose as a public speaker is to be really honest and open and genuine, as it should be, hopefully, then to give people your own sound, the sound of your voice, is you owe it to them. In the past, people compared the voice to, it was like the sound of your soul. And it's true on many levels that the sound that you have, but the real sound, the one that is there after you've gotten rid of anything that is artificially covering your sound, once your real sound is uncovered and unlocked, then what people hear is an expression of you, is an expression of your personality, of who you really are, and is an integral part of what you are conveying. You're not conveying just words. You're conveying ideas, you're conveying energy, you're conveying your own consciousness. And your voice can be a tremendous tool to help you do that effectively, provided that what you give people as far as your sound is your real sound and not someone else's. So I hope this helped you and convinced you of the importance of really finding out more about your sound rather than trying to borrow other people's sound. You don't need it. You have your own, and it's beautiful as it is. Once you have maybe made some adjustments in order for it to really shine. So if you want to know more about these things, if you want to know more how you can go through, uncovering your sound and finding your real voice, you can just follow the links under the video and they will give you more information and more resources.